you go Sydney or GWA?
Haven't yet.
Okay.
Still.
Well joined.
All right. Very good morning to the Gelding, and racing returns to Caulfield today, Gelding, with a 10-race card, the first at 11:45, the last at 4:55. So be home in time for the news. Are you heading off to Caulfield today, Gelding?
Good morning, Professor. No, I'll be watching him from home. Won't be far from the track, but we'll certainly be watching him from home. So, look, good morning to the listeners and yourself, Professor. Look, it should be a good day's racing. It's a bit overcast at the moment, not far from the track, but no rain and not much during the week. So no reason why the track shouldn't be in perfect conditions. But, I'm always worried about the Caulfield track and the bias sometimes that it shows, Professor.
Yes, Gelding. The track's a good 4. The rail's out 8 metres. So when they come round that home turn, anybody who's wide might be out in Derby Road.
Yeah, exactly, Professor. They might be catching the 4:15 from Caulfield Station on the way. But let's hope the track isn't biased. Like I've just come off a week of punting at Warrnambool, Professor. So where they had a red-hot bias track for the first 2 days of their meeting.
All right, Gelding. The feature race is race 9, the Australia Handicap, benchmark 100 for 3-year-old horses and above, over 2,000 metres worth, $150,000. We'd be happy as owners to win a horse race like that, wouldn't we, Gelding?
Oh, I would be very happy, Professor, if you've got a horse racing that has a benchmark of up in 100. You've got a very, very good horse. So, you're talking listed and maybe Group 3 type of horses with that kind of rating, Professor. So, yes, hopefully ours can get there.
Looking around the racing world in Australia today, Gelding, big day at Morphettville with the South Australia Derby. All the good riders are over there at the moment. Jamie Carr, Craig Williams. So we won't get Willowed today at Caulfield.
No, we won't get Willowed, and I think Jamie may have a big day in the main races over there today, Professor. She's on some very good horses, including the Map, Spirit of Camelot in the Guineas, the Map in the Queen Elizabeth Cup, changed from the Port Adelaide Cup, Professor. So you lose the showdown, and they cut the naming rights. Then in the Derby, I think she's right in there, but I'm having a quick look. She's on the filly Coco Sun, and takes on the Colts. But I do like Damien Lane's right. Warmonger gets back, but normally will be coming home. And I think if you follow her in the last, maybe don't follow her in the last, Professor. But anyway, she could have a very big day over there. But let's concentrate on Caulfield.
Well, I was just going to say that in New South Wales, they've fallen for the Victorian trap. Hawkesbury,
yes.
No metropolitan meeting in New South Wales today, Gelding. The Hawkesbury Cup has attracted James McDonald and all the good riders to the provinces.
The provincials, Professor. Look, big fields. Yeah, doing the Melbourne thing. Let's take the show on the road. But anyway, we won't really comment on that, Professor. Look, they've got some good races. Some worth $250,000, others $750,000 races, and one worth 200,000. But geez, Professor, I don't know. Imagine if you're sitting at Rose Hill at the moment, and have to drive from Parramatta to Hawkesbury to go to the races on a Saturday.
I wouldn't be happy with that, Gelding.
No, I think these clubs certainly have a place, and they're fantastic. But they used to make these type of races features on Sundays, Professor. And what would be better than going up the Hawkesbury River on a Sunday?
Exactly.
Have a weekend there. But anyway, let's get off the soapbox
Yes, let's get off the soapbox and back to Caulfield, Gelding. What are your two best bets for today's race meeting?
Well, Professor, I'm going fairly early today in race 2 at 12:15, taking the well fancy Warlock. This is a horse trained by Lindsay Smith and, of course, ridden by apprentice Tanya Charles. These apprentices get a bit of a go now that the other jockeys are over in Adelaide. Big raps on this horse, Professor. Talking it up in the spring as a possible group type of horse. Everything it's done so far has been fantastic. It's won 4 out of 5 races, Professor. Its first up record, it's 2 out of 2. Won a trial by 6 lengths. So, look, if the horse is half as good as the raps on it, it should be winning today, Professor, and will be a good start for all the parlay bets. And hopefully we'll discuss it a little bit later on in the show, talking about parlays. My second bet, I'm going to wait to the very last, race 10, number 2, Chortle Lane, to be ridden by Celine Gaudry, trained by Kieran Ma. The Ma stable just winning everything at the moment, Professor.
Yeah, they're flying, Gelding.
This horse is second up, which is a bit of the worry. It won first up at Bendigo, producing a very, very good run. First up form is quite good. However, Professor, second up, it may not be as strong. It's had one start second up for no wins and no placings, Professor, but first up form's good. But I'm confident to back the Ma stable in this also in Chortle Lane. So my two, Professor, going early, race 2, number 1, Wylock, and race 10, number 2, Chortle Lane. And you like, Professor?
Yeah, Gelding, I'm going to pick the eyes out of the middle races. First selection's in race 5, the Blue Blood Thoroughbreds Handicap, a benchmark 90 over 1,000 metres. I like in this race, Gelding, horse number 6, Philosopher. We've been on that one before. Yes. Coming out of Barrier 1, it's had an excellent record, Gelding. 12 starts for 5 wins and 3 placings, so a 42% win rate, 67% place rate, so it certainly ticks a few boxes there. Gelding, it's a Zoo Star, Gelding.
Got to have a Zoo Star, Professor.
Yeah, well, it's got to have a Zoo Star, Gelding. It's won over the distance. It's up in class, Gelding, but its last 6 starts, 4 wins, a second and a third. You can't go past that sort of record. Good each way bet, Gelding. Jordan Childs in the saddle. He's in career form at the moment. And a trainer we don't mention all that often in that's racing, Gelding, Enver Yusofovic, who's in career form over his career, 13%, but in the last 50, up to 16%. And at $4.60 and $1.80 you can get at the moment, Gelding. I'd snap that up.
Good each way.
For a horse that's in that sort of form, they're not bad odds.
Can train a horse when he gets a good one, Professor. As you well know, we've been on his good horse Pinstripe many times. So very good. I like it, Professor. Nice each way. And may add some value to our parlay, hopefully after the more Warlock wins, hopefully race 2.
All right, well, here's another one for the parlay, Gelding. Race 6 in the Evergreen Turf Handicap. It's an open race for 3-year-olds over 1,400 metres. I like in this race, Gelding, horse number 2, Grinzinger Bell, coming out of Barrier 8. 10 starts for 2 wins and 4 placings. 20% win rate, 60% place rate. Won a Group 3, the TAB Vanity at Flemington, over 1,400 metres in February, Gelding. It followed that up with a 7th in the Group 2, CUNY, over 1,600 metres. I don't like it over 1,600, Gelding, but it still ran second in the Group 3 Alexandra Stakes in March, over 1,600. It was run down by Vibrant Sun, Gelding. It was only beaten half a length. Now, Vibrant Sun last week went on to win the Group 1 Australasian Oaks at Morfettville. Yep. So I think I'm liking the form line here. And it's back to 1,400 metres, its favourite distance. So I'm thinking that this could be a big tick for the parlay. Liam Riordan's in the saddle gelding and trained by the very good Danny O'Brien, currently showing $4.40 and $1.60.
Yeah, I like it, Professor. And good reasons to be betting it. I thought there would have been a couple of other horses you would have had a look at in this race. One horse that you backed a couple of starts ago for a very nice win. Wolfie. In number 3, Wolfie. And then one of your favourite trainers, Mick Price, has an unbeaten horse in the race and you're going against it. You might want to explain why.
Well, I've got a horse that's lost to a Group 1 horse and ran second in a Group 2 versus a horse that's won a maiden and I think a benchmark 68. So there might be a difference in class. Look, I could be wrong, but let's face it. Yep. Theories are my favourite thing, Gelding.
Oh, they certainly are, Professor, and I do like the way that you there's justification for it, as you said. But class prevails, Professor.
Well, as always, Gelding, we hope in this race that the cream rises to the top.
Beautiful, Professor. I like it. I do like it.
All right, Gelding. So my two value-packed selections today, race 5, horse 6, Philosopher, and race 6, horse 2, Grinzinger Bell. Now, let's turn to the Professor's parlay, which was, albeit, oh, sorry, Gelding, you wanted to say something?
Just before we get on to that, Professor, I've just got some breaking news about the racing industry. 2 Victorian jockeys have been charged by Racing Victoria stewards for serious betting and corruption offences. So hasn't been referred to the police, but Michael Poy, who is the son of champion jockey Michael Clark, and Lewis German, corrupted. It's been reported that in the Herald Sun that they corrupted the outcome of races over a 4-month period between April and August 2022. So some kind of breaking news there, Professor, that something racing shouldn't be in the headlines for. Jockeys fixing races and, of course,
allegedly fixing races.
Allegedly fixing races, but they have been charged with the offence and will be doing that along with 2 professional punters, Professor. So, but they're of course licensed, so they will probably, if proven, Professor, and we won't say that, will be they may be missing from the form guides for a while. So some breaking news and one to follow, Professor, in the upcoming weeks.
Yes, and we must emphasise that although they've been charged by the racing industry, nothing yet has been proven.
No, nothing proven and nothing referred to the police, Professor. So it's just these were charges that have been made and, jockeys are suspended for interference during races. But, of course, these charges are on the more serious side.
Well, they are, and we'll look forward to seeing what happens with the outcome of those proceedings in due course, Gelding. Let's look at the Professor's parlay. Now, you would have thought last week that our luck was going so poorly that Bold Bastille breaking through the barrier might be the end of the parlay, but it wasn't.
No,
it was a scratching. So we get $1 back for the scratching into the parlay, and Gold Coast and the Brisbane Gold Coast Suns and the Brisbane Broncos were successful. So the parlay returned a lovely return. $7.10 is not bad when you've got a scratching, Gelding.
Well, 2 out of 3, Professor.
So that takes us to 62%. It raises us back above the 60% since the start of the year, Gelding.
Still fantastic value, Professor. And as I know I don't want to harp on it, but I was watching some betting sites during the week, and the betting sites was trumpeting how well they were doing, getting a 33% win rate. and they're trying to sell their chips, saying they get a 33% just on picking the horses.
Yep.
Here we are picking the horses and 2 other sports, and you double that.
Yeah.
Maybe something to look into, Professor.
It may be something to look into, Geldy. All right, let's look at today's parlay. Going Greed Bet of the Day, race 2, horse number 1, Mawalak. For all the reasons that you mentioned before, Gelding, I think that's going to be a great start to the parlay. Then we'll parlay that, and we're going NRL today, Gelding. Melbourne Storm to beat the Gold Coast Titans. Melbourne Storm are third on the ladder. They've got a plus 54 points differential. They've won 6 and only lost 1. Gold Coast Titans, 16th, Gelding. They've only won 1 game. They've looked terrible in most of those games. Minus 87 points differential after only 7 games, Gelding. So they're losing by at least 12 a game, sometimes even more. The line on this is 13.5, Gelding, which is more than 2 converted tries. So at $1.18, I think the Melbourne Storm are good value. And let's parlay that into the Cronulla Sharks, the top team in the NRL at the moment, with a plus 99 points differential. They've won 6 and lost 1. And to beat, well, a middle-of-the-road St George outfit, Gelding, they're 12th. They've won 4 of 8. But the thing is, you'd think if you've won 4 and lost 4, your points differential wouldn't be minus 60, would it?
No, that's huge, Professor.
Yeah, so they've been smacked by the good teams and haven't won by a lot against the bad teams.
Now, will Schooner be following the Sharks today, Professor?
No, but Mitty will.
Mitty will?
Yeah, Mitty's the big Shark supporter.
Okay, so yeah, Cronulla Sharks. How does the son of a Schooner become a Mitty? We understand how that comes about.
Yes.
I'm a bit surprised that he's not following in the footsteps of Schooner and not a Sea Eagles fan, Professor.
No, he didn't. He likes Sharks. He doesn't like Sea Eagles. And, you know, when you've got somebody of modest years, they are driven by all sorts of reasons to support sporting teams. So he likes Sharks, and that's why he supports the Cronulla Sharks. So Schooner's not too happy about that, but unfortunately, just like everything else, you've got to live with those things that, you know, children make sometimes decisions we don't agree with.
Very entertaining, Professor.
Yes. The line in this one's Gelding's 12.5, so more than 2 converted tries, so that's good enough for me. Cronulla Sharks at home are $1.20, so I'll take that leap all over that $1.20, Gelding.
That's fantastic value.
So today's parlay, race 2, horse 1 at Caulfield, Mawalak, into Melbourne Storm to beat Gold Coast Titans, into Cronulla Sharks to beat St George. And the win parlay is currently showing 2-1, Gelding. The place parlay is showing 3-2.
Beautiful, Professor. Let's hope let's try and get it up to that 70%.
Well,
but you're still going like, you know, you're basically, you know, 2 out of 3 is getting up, Professor. So anyone who's punting and getting that kind of return just would be very, very happy with themselves, Professor. So you're putting out a very, very good service in this Professor's parlay, and it's good fun to follow it during the weekend.
Well, it is. It gives us something to look at, doesn't it, Gil?
Exactly.
All right. Well, that's all for That's Racing this week. So until next Saturday, it's good luck
and good punting.